Hello guys and welcome back to Power and Revolution 2019 edition with our playthrough of China here. In the last episode, North and South Korea stopped their war, kind of a white peace over here. Mongolia, we've started preparing to go to an unjust war against. And over here some weird shit was happening in the Americas, France and Canada fighting, and then the US and Canada fighting, and these US tanks, I guess, are heading back. Some of them are. There was some weird conflict here that shouldn't have been happening, and I don't know if that will evolve into anything else or not, but I am moving at the very start here, as you can maybe see, or maybe not. No, yeah, you can. That I'm moving another 11,000 infantry over to Baotou. Once they get here, I'm going to start moving troops to the border. I'm going to schedule the cyberattack, and then once the cyberattack comes in, we're basically just going to beeline it to the capital from about here. It will take a little bit, but the cyberattack should hopefully last long enough to get all the troops I'm sending into the capital. I can see what they have. Like, they only have 9 fighters. A lot of their troops are over here. I haven't put anyone by this place, but the capital itself doesn't have an insane amount of units in it. It shouldn't be too tough of a fight. So also last episode I proposed a military intervention against Indonesia because I got some good dirt on them, and now the vote has come, so I'm going to vote pro and hope we can get some permanent permission to invade Indonesia on top of what we already have on Myanmar. So unfortunately it was rejected. Indonesia, of course, was on the council, voted against it. It needed 9 votes to pass, and we were 1 vote short. I may try it again later because I'll still have the proof, but we're missing 1 vote. Maybe if the Security Council members change up again, we can get a different result. Or if I try to convince someone that voted no before. Okay, so I think we're ready to launch our military cyber attack, and we're going to go ahead and confirm that action. My troops are already starting to move to the border. By the time they get there, the cyber attack should be over with. I may decide to take over the airbase on the way over there, because as I can kind of see it, their missile launcher capability isn't much of a threat. I could always scramble fighters against their missile launchers, but their fighters are what could cause me damage. So I might go ahead and take the airbase and destroy their fighters on the way to the capital, because they only have the 1 airbase. They have 2 places for which they can summon missile launchers against me, but I'm not too worried. I do have airplanes in some location somewhere, you know, over here. It'll take a moment, but it wouldn't be the hardest thing to get rid of their Tech 1 missile launchers that have, like, an awful range. In addition, I'm also going to go in here and set to dismantle this organization, the Chinese Democratic Movement, again. It's been a month and 4 days approximately since we infiltrated it, so it should be good to go.
Here's our growth forecast for the end of
Very
the year.
good growth forecast, very good at the moment. Unemployment hasn't really moved.
Duly noted.
Cyber attack is scheduled. Ukraine's having a disaster. Poor Ukraine. If Russia wasn't my friend, I might help you, but Russia is my friend. Inflation went down a teeny tiny amount and growth actually held. That's pretty impressive. So just for anyone curious, there are other conflicts happening in the world, and I almost never look at them because they're ongoing and they're not the most exciting to watch. But just for those curious, the Mujahideen in Afghanistan is pretty much down to these 2 places specifically. They overrun this place, this location. They seem to get back and forth, but they do have a hold on it. The actual status of the conflict, as you can see, balance of power is way in the favor of Afghanistan, but the fighting is in favor of the Mujahideen. These are the deaths. It's actually a pretty sizable amount of deaths on both sides, with Afghanistan having lost more than they have killed. Yemen also has its fair share of fighting, as we can see a bunch of Yemen troops over here bombarding a base and trying to keep control of this location. These 2 places are basically completely lost, but to 2 completely different sides. As we can see here, this is the amount of killed on both sides. Yemen taking far more casualties in this battle. And there's a couple others. Yemen is also... Or is this the same one? Oh, God. Yemen is also fighting these guys right here. And the losses are still pretty high. But Yemen actually has a better KDR, quote-unquote, in this one. Somalia also has its number of fighting... Oh, damn, the Puntland Free Front having some real bad luck against Somalia, looks like. Their forces are basically tiny at this point. The Puntland Free Front is also fighting the Somalian Autonomous League, but there's not much exchange of fire there. But, oh crap, if I could hit the right button, we could take a look at Somalia versus the Autonomous League, and still not a lot of fighting, surprising. Mainly the Free Front getting fucked up. And then Libya, as you can see, is a terrible hellhole of terrorism and fighting. Libyan Democratic Movement fighting against Libya. As you see, Libya is losing more troops than their Democratic Front rebels. And there's more. The Libyan Islamic Resistance Army, of which the fighting is not as extreme, but Libya is still kind of losing there. I mean, Libya does have more troops. They do have more troops. And even... Oh, no, wait. So they have more troops than the Islamic Front. So the Islamic Front has less troops than Libya. But the Democratic Movement of Libya has more troops and power than Libya. I wish I could sort it by who owns what, but the Islamic terrorists own this. The Democratic Movement owns this. This lighter pink area seems to be a mixture, yeah, like, because at this point it's the Islamics, and here it's the actual Libyans. The dark red is all the Democratic Movement, which, as you can see, owns a large chunk of the country. They seem to own half or more of the country, realistically. Not its population centers, though, but damn. At this rate, I don't know how this starts out, but at this rate, it looks like Libya would be on track to getting wiped out by their own, like, rebellion movements. I know there's a couple more conflicts around the world that you can keep an eye on, like Syrian Kurdish resistance versus Syria and Turkey, but there's no fighting there. There should be between them and Turkey. Oh, that's Syria and Turkey I saw. That's why there's no fighting. The Turks have killed a couple of Kurdish. And finally, there should be one over here in Ukraine. It seems like the actual fighting has come down to a halt, but the East Donbass Front, I think they're called. East Donbass Free Front in this game is what they're called. I don't know how much they start with, but this is their current situation for anyone that is curious about what is going on in the world. That is not China.
Strike. Our malware has infected the enemy servers and will bring chaos to their
Well,
headquarters.
we are ready to declare war against Mongolia, and I am going to. Before I start it, I just want to say one thing. Someone in the comments actually left me a request for creating an economy guide on this game, and I've actually already written up all the points that I'm going to cover, and by points, I mean I made like 5 sentences, and I'm going to just speak for probably like 20 minutes off of my knowledge of the game. If you guys want to see any guides on this game on anything other than economics, or if you just want to second the desire for an economic guide, let me know in the comments below, so if I do go ahead and start making guides, maybe I have more than one topic to cover. Well, with the military cyber attack complete, our players are off, ready to cross the border, and we're going to get the 72 hours get out of our territory notice. It didn't take very long at all for them to reach here to here, and this is about a 112-mile trek according to the game. It gives you the distances, as you can see. This is about from where they were to here is about 4 times that. I think I should be able to get there before the military cyber attack wears off, hopefully. But we'll see. Oh, they just went to dark red immediately. They are clearly angry that I am marching more troops than they have into their country. And Laos is having a plague. It's like a pandemic or an epidemic. They're having cholera, apparently. And partial whatever of the Democratic Movement. So we're going to infiltrate this again. Is there anyone for me to file? No, still no one for me to file. Their numbers are coming down even further. We're going to get rid of them eventually, but maybe when we get Mongolia, we might actually get another place we have to worry about taking down the quote-unquote terrorist or illegal organizations from. So far, so good. We're making good progress here.
Your provocations of this country are ridiculous and dangerous.
My mom's angry that I'm going to war in Mongolia. Mom, leave me alone. So we have a meeting with Belarus here. They just got a new leader, and I was given the option to congratulate him, which means he's probably leaning towards me or of a similar ideology, and he's apparently Dracula, too, if you see these little lines right here. Last time we spoke to Belarus, we couldn't actually get anything with them because of our relations, but this dude loves us now, so we can just get a full alliance right off the bat, just like that. And let me see if he'll give me air. No. How about air and I flick air? Yep. Land and I flick air. No. Alright. land and I give you maritime and flick air. No, alright, well, land and you get maritime and air completely. Yes, okay, cool. We don't need maritime from them because they don't have any ocean borders, but getting it could still be beneficial because it would allow me, there you go, to set up bases in the future in Belarus if I need to. And that meeting, we got a full alliance, we got full access through them, and just like that, easy peasy, new friends. As you see, our troops are at least halfway to getting to the capital city. I think 4 days or so have passed. I have sent a group of 20 helicopters, I've decided, over here. Hopefully they get there before the cyber attack ends, and just to get this out of the way, because I didn't actually send the troops there like I was considering, but the helicopters do have the capability to take bases when they hover over them. It's a weird thing, but yeah. Cyber attack is still going on, and our helicopters are about to reach the airbase. I'm surprised. It's been an 8 day long, or maybe 9 cyber attack. Alright, so we've lost a couple troops, but no equipment. The fighters may have been destroyed while they were on the ground, and we are starting to capture the airbase. So we don't have to worry about the fighters taking off against us. Missiles from here may still be an issue, but I don't know. Our troops are about to reach the capital. I don't imagine that they have any giant amount of missile launchers that could cause me like complete mission failure if the cyber attack were to end right now even. That was a pretty good use of helicopters, man. I thought maybe they'd take some losses or something. And now Mongolia finally realizes that we're at war despite me being way over the 72-hour ultimatum. We've taken the Air Force base here. Oh shit! Their troops are coming out. Their troops are coming out. The cyber attack appears to be over. Well, let's see if I can, get another one in there really quick without any prep work. And let's see, what's the nearest airbase I have realistically? It's either this one or it's going to be this one. 55 fighters here. Let's just send, 15? No, let's send 25 of them out just to make sure. Regular missiles. And target these missile launchers before they get into any good range to do any damage. That's a good amount of tanks coming from over here. So maybe I'm going to send out a little bit more in the way of the next 30 fighters probably are going to want to go over here and attack these tanks if they can make it there in time. Hopefully they can. Luckily our tanks are standing in between their tanks and my infantry, because that could be pretty bad if they do get us like that. Mongolia has declared war. Yep. Here comes their infantry and some more missile launchers. That's actually a relatively decent amount of missile launchers coming. I'm going to take another 25. Nah, let's take 30 out of this place and send them to attack these, where is it? Missile launchers. There you go. Our troops have reached the city though, and we are entering the city, so that is good. Immediately get them going down here. And let's just fucking hope for the best, I guess. I don't know. They have like movement orders right now. Now these guys have orders to actually attack, which is concerning. But they don't seem to be in range just yet. We are almost definitely, judging by how quote unquote fast, I'd rather say slow, our fighters are moving. We are definitely going to lose some troops here. This is definitely going to lose some troops. But we should have enough troops already in the capital to win the war. Yep, here we go. Their tanks are hitting ours, and we're seeing pretty decent losses here. Government palace siege has begun. UN ultimatum against China. That will never go through. China declares war. Offensive strategy. No, don't touch my troops. Geological survey map. Is that what you call it? Mongolia declares war on China. Okay. Go into the city, and we will see that we are in a tricky situation here. Okay. And are there more troops? There are more troops. Let's get them in there. And back out of here for a moment. We'll see these missiles are seemingly aiming for our tanks. Whew. Yeah, you can't enter with an entire stack at once during a war, so you see we're entering in the hundreds at a time. So the 50-ish tanks that I sent there are pretty much dead now. But we should have enough troops already in here to win the battle at the end of the day. The first troops that have hit the inside of the bunker have seemingly died. Okay. And then I already have sent out all the fighters I need to. There's not much more I can do right now other than sit down and wait. And occasionally peek in here. Whoa, whoa, glitchy, glitchy, glitchy. Okay, we're fighting in here. And we've almost killed them all. Alright, we got all of them. Now we just gotta take the bunker. We just gotta take the bunker. And let's get our troops going over there. They do have some troops headed towards us. Some tanks even. We just gotta dogpile it in here pretty much. And outside, we've not clashed just yet, but it will happen. It will happen. Oh, I did this a little quick and dirty, didn't I? Some missiles have been launched. They are actually spilling over into our territory. Some missiles have been launched. Okay, we're seeing fighting. We are seeing fighting start. I think they intercepted one of the groups that was heading into the city at first. Yeah, that's what they intercepted. They're intercepting the groups leaving the sack. Okay, now the actual fighting is beginning, and we are taking pretty big losses. But it's fine, because we have sent enough troops in to actually win the day here. We are about a third of the way through taking the bunker. Woo! And the missiles from the plane hit the tanks, but it doesn't seem to have actually done very much. That's a yikes. I don't know why that happened. But more missiles have been launched at the missile launchers, which seem to be a little irrelevant at this point, I guess. Yeah, they're still up there. And it was actually shot at the base instead. Alright, I don't know. That was some weird fucking shit. It's pretty much down to these troops that are in here to take the bunker. We're 2/3 of the way through. We actually suffered more losses here than in what's it called? Bhutan? But that's because of the way I just kind of rushed my way through here. Had I gone about this by destroying all their military bases instead of trying to outrun them, it may have gone a little better. Let's get some grenades throwing. We gotta make sure we keep this safe for another like 20%. Alright, we're taking care of the tanks. Oh, you throw grenades there, you throw grenades there. Oh, we did get some tanks in, actually, before the rest got slaughtered. Wish I noticed that sooner. I wish the AI had done something with them. Ooh, yikes. All our forces outside are about to be basically dead, but the tanks cannot technically get inside. They can't get inside the presidential palace. Oh, but apparently they can shoot inside the presidential palace. Let's get that going. Which ones is it? It's these ones over here shooting. Yeah, it's these ones over here. Let me see if I can get them blown up. Well, I did some damage at least. Our tanks are coming in over here. They have some infantry coming in. We're still capping it, but it looks like it's going to be a success. Wow, this was way too close. I should have just destroyed... The thing is, I didn't want to destroy the military base because if whether or not I lose some lives is semi-irrelevant. What is more relevant is that... Oh, man. What is more relevant is that I keep the bases, because the bases cost more than all the troops and equipment that I've lost. The bases cost a lot more than all that jazz. So while there's still a little bit of fighting because of previous orders... Oh, shit.
Strike.
Okay, well, we just cyberattacked them. There was a little bit of fighting because of previous orders given. We have captured the capital, and we should see them surrender here in just a moment. Some confidential information on Indonesia. We haven't lost much of any popularity from doing this war, despite having no justification to be here whatsoever. Escalation of conflict. Someone in Slovakia got deposed. Okay, some people are still yelling at Canada for whatever the hell has happened over here. I'm not even following the NATO politics right now. This should be it. This should be pretty much all of the losses that will have happened. Yes. We just have to wait for the pop-up. Mongolia surrenders. There you go. They have surrendered. So now I get to keep their military bases. All their soldiers are now my soldiers. Return to base. Just literally all of this. What, I can't give like a mass order? Oh, I forgot that right click is not to move. Return to base. 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 It's weird that I have to just kind of spam this, but return to base. Return to base. You are returning to your city. There's a refugee camp being made here, but you guys are literally just going right back to the city. Yeah? Alright, so I can cancel this. And return to base. And apparently there's someone here. Okay, tanks, return to base. So I just got all their shit, basically. And they had some military equipment. A lot of it is really inferior military equipment. Alright, there you go. The leader is shot at dawn, because for whatever reason that always happens. Peace treaty. What does colonized country do again? It just kind of makes them permanently allied with you, right? Yeah. It doesn't give you anything else. Controls its armies. Economic independence. Yeah, it's just forces and alliance. We're going to integrate that bitch. It's always ill-advised because it makes the game buggier. But, speaking of buggier, look at my map. What the fuck? Hello? It was just zoomed in on the US there. Alright. We've infiltrated there. Holy shit. We've taken control of Mongolia. We've taken control of Mongolia. Death toll. 30. Yeah, those are basically all infantry of mine that have died. We have just gained all the Mongolian infantry, though, which kind of replenishes our ranks a little, except their infantry is 1 star compared to our 3 star. And the military equipment that we have captured from them, as you can see, 1 star. There might be some others, or is it literally just tanks? No, it should be missile launchers as well. Alright, maybe it hasn't calculated that. Oh, no, it hasn't calculated. They're still light blue, so it hasn't calculated that. But we just gained a bunch of shitty, like 1 or 2 star tanks and 1 star missile launchers from them. I will probably... Oh my god, does this really have to spam for every single city? Hello? I know I've taken all these cities. You know what's crazy about Mongolia? They have like a 3 million population. Such a small population, but their landmass is huge, and they have like as many states. They have more states than Australia has, and more cities to represent them. And look, if you look at the populations, 19,000. This is worth being a big city on the map, for real. And now I get a notification for literally every single one. Click, Jesus Christ. And what's this? Government waste. I wish I could turn off that. Okay, now they are looking the way that I want them to look. So yeah, here we go. I've just gained 374 rank 2 tanks. I think I had some rank 1 tanks from Bhutan, but now I have 120. 47 rank 1 missile launchers. As you see, we've gotten some pretty shitty stuff from them, but hey, it's more stuff. Eventually, I may just dismantle that and start making more stuff. Just literally dismantle all the older stuff, especially these drone rank 2s. These are, like, useless. And go with the drone rank 3s and, you know, max tanks, max missile launchers, just as a modernization thing. But if I do that, it will be when we are a little better on money, and it will be when we are... needing especially a little bit of economic growth. Speaking of money and economic growth, so I still haven't solved our debt problem, but I've gotten it to only 1% of our GDP. So I'm going to go ahead here, and I'm actually going to increase a tax. I'm going to increase the tax on company turnover just to 2% at the start. As you see, just not even a full 0.5% increase, and it's going to give me over $50 billion in budget economy. That would more than solve the deficit that I am running right now. So I'm going to put that underway and hope that my country doesn't hate my guts for that. And that is some beautiful formatting. And it's a little late, though, because the war is already over. Chinese government feels that the accusations made by Mongolia before the Security Council come close to pure slander. You know what's amazing? Even though we invaded them, and Mongolia is totally right, This is exactly what real-life China would do. They do it all the time. It's like, oh, we're just going to march troops into India. And he's like, stop invading us. And they're like, bitch, you stop invading us. It's like, but you sent troops into our land. It's like, no, you put your land where our troops were. That is an invasion, and we are now declaring war on you. Like, that's the kind of logic that China uses. And it's so great to see that shown in game. But damn, guys, I can't just cleanly select Mongolia on the map because they were made up of so many provinces or states that were completely underdeveloped compared to some of our eastern ones, by the way. But take a look at this China. Take a look at this China. This is a big, beefy, healthy, well-fed China. And you know what our next war target's going to be, right? It's going to be Nepal, probably. And now that Mongolia is gone, I can reassign the agents that were assigned there and beef up my other networks a bit here. I like to not make them too sparse because it makes things take longer, like the cyber attacks. They could get done way faster. Looks like all of our information has been recalculated now that we've taken over Mongolia. Our growth has gone down a little bit, inflation down a little bit, and look at our fucking unemployment is so teeny tiny. That's actually really, really low. If it gets any lower, the next like economic tick, I might have to do something to raise it, because when unemployment gets too low, wages go up because of a lack of a workforce, which for the workers is amazing. For the economy, that's actually pretty damn awful. It is an inflationary thing, and it would raise inflation as a result. So I want to make sure I keep my unemployment at least 3% or higher. Okay, the Canada and Greenland have a latent conflict, but the French-Canadian conflict seems to have spiked back up again. Over here, of all things, some Canadian troops are over here, some Canadian ships. What the hell is happening? What have you done? What did you kill? You killed one of their planes? You just shot down a fucking passenger plane and killed some tanks. Why would you shoot down a passenger plane? What kind of crazy-ass motherfucker? Yeah, there's that upturn on unemployment front as it drops to 3.12%. That's pretty dangerous. That can get dangerous if it goes any lower. Luckily, our retirement ages are like 10 years off, so I can just slowly tick up the female retirement age, and then that would actually solve the problem. Our inauguration of an air base is happening soon, meaning if we go here... Yep, our air bases in Australia are done. That's awesome. So I can now use these to go into places like Papua New Guinea, to go into Indonesia, to go into New Zealand. And New Zealand would be a piece of cake, theoretically, or at least as much of a piece of cake as Mongolia was. We may lose, 10 or a couple 10,000 troops tops, but nothing I can't easily replenish, with my current 2 million sized army. And yeah, they're going to vote against the resolution against me. Where's the New Zealand capital? Right here. I feel like getting to it shouldn't be that hard. But they do have air bases and stuff to worry about. Afghanistan is having a plague. And you know what's funny about this? I zoomed out and I noticed just how many different plagues are happening. And we also had that cholera epidemic we saw. The world has a lot of these going on. It makes me wonder, if I go over here, epidemic... What's the risk of a major uncontrollable pandemic? It's actually been going up over time. That's just what... I know we're not very likely to be affected by it, but we may want to do something to kind of help on that front. I know, of course, getting all this up helps, but one of the biggest thing that helps, I remember, is prevention and vaccination. That's a pretty big one in helping that, so we may want to look into that. But hey, look at that, we have a projected excess, budgetary excess now. All right, our growth has gone back up more to where it was before we took over Mongolia, and our unemployment has gone up a little bit as well. That's good. It's at a very good point. Okay, here we go. There's our logins. Company turnover has gone through, and it went by pretty well. Look at that. It's the industry didn't like it very much because, it's a tax for people with unsalaried professions, so I guess that would be kind of like a Twitch streamer or something like that. I may be wrong. I may be interpreting, because it's not a self-employment tax. It's a tax on company turnover. And I don't really understand the difference, but it's one of the best taxes in the game that I know of. Although you might think otherwise if you look at what's actually gaining me income in all of this. And I don't want to send the industrial pollution tax any higher, so I just thought I'd do that to fix up our current monetary situation right now. If we go over here and take a look at our budget excess, here you go. Yep, it's now in excess of 56-ish billion dollars. That's per year, I think. And that should be enough to get us out of what little debt we're in. Last time we took out debt, it was literally just like 5 billion. Here's our total debt right here. Wait, we have a treasury reserve? But we're in debt. Yeah, we're in debt. How do we have a treasury reserve? That doesn't make any sense. Canadian armed forces attack French unit. Risk of the conflict escalating. This is just happening back and forth. It hasn't actually escalated, though, which is the important thing. France and Canada break off diplomatic relations. Both embassies are now closed. That's interesting. Greenland and Canada escalation of the conflict following Greenland reply to Canadian attack. I guarantee you, Canada has not intended to do anything that it has done. It's just some unfortunate, like, AI orders where someone trespassed and then it just got blown way out of proportion because game AI, at least in this case, is dumb. Look at all of these plagues, man. What the fuck? I mean, Africa, this makes sense, but I'm just surprised by the sheer amount that are actively ongoing. So literally every country in the world voted on intervening against me because of the war in Mongolia. Literally every single country on the Security Council. And because I am a permanent member, I got to say no. Fuck you, haha, just like real life China, basically. And with that, that's a good episode full. Mongolia is ours. Only one more unjust war that I've set up to do so far, and that is against Nepal. So that is the last time I imagine a intervention call against us would see so much support. This one should be a little harder because they have 100,000 men, but at the same time, it should be actually easier because since it's so small and I can get right here, which would not even probably be 100 miles from here to here. That means when the cyber attack goes into effect, I'll probably capture the city before it ever comes out of effect. So that will be a lot easier. Myanmar might be a little more difficult because of the distance here, but I don't think the distance from there to there is quite as large as we crossed for Mongolia. Although if it does kind of undo itself a little too early, that can be problematic. If we were friends with Thailand, we could actually set up in their territory, which would be preferable. But we'll see about that stuff when we get to it. For now, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.